Hello, this is a 2021 LEGO Monkey kit set. It's the White Dragon Horse Jet. The items here are the Dragon Horse Jet itself, 3 minifigures, 3 side builds, and then a cat with a mohawk. The jet itself is pretty unique in how it goes together and also how it looks. I personally am a big fan of the shaping of its major components and also the color scheme and how they do the patterning between the teal color, bright green, and lime green. This top view really highlights how different the shaping is from LEGO's typical realistic fighter jet-based designs that they usually go for, especially like these aerodynamic surfaces here. What are those? What do they represent? What are they from? You could see them as forward canards from a forward canard design of jet, but then it's just so different. And I appreciate the color blocking there with the teal done without the application of stickers. So this set does use some stickers. You see one there, you see one there, see one there, see one over there, but they're small. Most of the shaping that you see is actual pieces. The nose is built up. This kind of horse snout here is built. Studs on the side from one side and studs on the side from the other side. They are connected together with a Technic axle inside of there, and then the whole thing is clipped onto the body from the front. It's really interesting stuff, really different stuff than you typically see from LEGO builds. And then because of the whole dragon part, you see dragon scale, so the overlapping here. And then this design, this is my personal favorite thing on the entire build, just how those 3 colors are put together and how they're blocked off inside of there with the use of different shapes of tiles. 4 of those are the 5-sided shield type tiles, but then these side lime green ones are corner tiles. They've got a little notch underneath that's just hidden. So they've hidden away some stuff, just like they've used these corner tiles here to block things out even more. It all goes together very satisfyingly, and there's additional detail inside. Like these are suggestions of missiles in there, perhaps, or cannons, or maybe that's supposed to be a cannon. But then there's a real shooter, a spring-loaded shooter right there. Stud shooter here, so that's more obvious, but the spring-loaded shooter is completely embedded in there, and they don't even use a separate mechanism to get you access to shooting that. There's just a little bit of the tail that sticks out at the back, so you can still operate it just normally without having some remote thing, and yet it doesn't stand out too much. I like this. I like trans bright green, just generally speaking. They introduced this mold in Ninjago for Prime Empire, but I mean, again, just the shaping, it's very satisfying to me. I know I'm just giving you personal thoughts there. It's very subjective, but I will tell you that compared to a typical LEGO build, this is very different, and it feels interesting. It feels refreshing. Whether you like it or not, the end result, it does feel interesting to put it together. So I definitely have to respect that. Inside, we have that classic inspired tile for the single control panel up towards the front. No actual hand controls for this, though. I'm assuming that she's just jacked in kind of directly. And of course, she does have the eyepiece there. So there's probably some remote controlling going on. But it would have been nice to see something for her hands to grab towards, even if it was a digital interface. And once again here, trans bright green with that X-wing canopy done backwards. You can pull these things up a little bit if you want to get a slightly different look, like almost a mohawk look, or like a bird with its crest raised with interest. And they've got a clip back here that can hold on to an accessory as well. Put all those back together. There are no retractable landing gear pieces underneath. You just have right there and right there. Oh, there is one thing that you can do though, as far as changing the geometry of this. You can fold the wings up so they can be flat like that. It's not much of a difference, but it is something. Reduces the gaps in here. Some people I think will appreciate that, Less gaps makes it look a little bit more believable, or you can bring it down extra far, which looks more gappy, but different, maybe a little bit more exotic, a little bit more aggressive as viewed from the side. Let me do one last thing just to adjust this a bit, because I liked this look here with these kind of cascaded up, something like that, or even doing it the opposite way. Like so, all these shapes go together interestingly. It's cool. It's really cool. And we don't see any whack colors sticking through. We don't see any reds and blues and yellows in between. All that stuff is anything that's odd colored is covered up inside. And for the most part, they're just using exterior colors for the actual structure. So you don't have to worry about that at all. And it works. It's totally feasible. Now, this random surprise product vending machine is actually the first thing that you build in the set. This does use a few stickers on it, but this is designed to actually work. So they're showing you random things that you can potentially get. Those are intended to represent the tops of cans or containers. And what you do is you take a credit card or a mobile device and you scan it in and you push and out comes an object. And it's a full can that has one of those tile pieces on the top. And there are a number of them in there. So this resets. Do it again. Out that comes. Here's another one. There's just one of the cans inside for each of the tiles that you see in the preview here. This cat was introduced in the first wave of Monkie Kid sets. It is Mo, and belongs to or works with Sandy. And here it gets its own vehicle, a flying vehicle with a couple of stud shooters. Very brightly colored to match the cat itself. The cat itself, if you haven't seen this one before, is dual molded and just follows the same pattern as the one that was introduced for Welcome to Apocalypseburg for the Lego Movie 2. The build for this is pretty straightforward, pretty quick, but it definitely works and is appropriate. It's not too big or complex for what it's trying to do. The last build is this evil six-legged spider robot thing that uses a new piece for 2021 for the purple there. It's a right angle adapter with a bar hole at the base of it and a clip at the other end. And you can just put this directly down on the ground so that it's not actually elevated by the legs, which makes it much easier to work with, to move it around and to pose it. Or if you want, you can actually elevate it up and then try to get it into what looks like more of an attacking pose or, a moving pose or something like that. You've got a tile that's used right there. There's also a tile on the other side of the abdomen section. This is simple, but another thing that I think is pretty effective for what it's trying to be. And again, doesn't use too many pieces, doesn't pad up the piece count in the set. So looking at the minifigures on the left is, of course, May, who unfortunately does not also include her helmet piece here in this set. I think they should have included that. I prefer the hair piece myself, but the helmet is a nice thing for her to be able to switch into. So it's a little bit of a miss to not include that. She does get the dragon hilt piece, and that is a trans bright green sword. It was originally, I believe, a Nexo Knights sword blade piece. In the center is just a random citizen, as they have been including in some of the sets. His name is C, S-I, and maybe it's supposed to be Psy, but I think it's supposed to be pronounced C. We already saw that he has his mobile device there. That's a new print for 2021. We've seen that a number of times up to this point. And on the right is the Huntsman. Is it the Huntsman or a Huntsman? Brand new set of prints for that one. And has the four eyes there, recolored piece for the, what do you call that? That fluffy, furry thing around his neck. And that's also, I believe, a new, at least it's new to me. I don't recall if that was used in a set in the second wave, because I didn't get the second wave. But that's a new to me hair piece for him as well in the dark gray color. There are the alternate faces, and I also moved the sword on the right so you can see he has the printed tile piece used there, and with that furry piece removed, you can see just a little bit more of his torso print. Here are the leftover pieces, including extra projectiles for the stud shooters and spring-loaded shooter. This is what the spent sticker sheet looks like, so not too many for the entire set, especially for the jet. Most of these went into the side build, and you do get one each of the little printed tile pieces. All right, let's look at price and value. $50 US I paid for this, 50. 565 pieces it comes with. Okay, on paper that looks pretty good, and I'm actually surprised at how cheap this is. Relatively speaking, most of the Monkie Kid sets, in my opinion, have been pretty cool, but very, very expensive, overpriced, because they can be, because Lego knows the specific market that they're going after. It doesn't mean that I personally have to like it. They know the people that they're going after have a lot of extra money to spend. And again, that doesn't mean that I have to like it, but this I like, and I'm satisfied with the value. I'm completely satisfied with it. I mean, this is the price to part ratio is very nice, but there are a lot of small pieces here, so don't look at that with don't put too much stock in that number itself as usual, but the volume of stuff here is pretty good. Oh, there we go. I put that back properly. It's got to be right. And this thing is heavy. I mean, it is not a hollow build. It is pretty solid. It's something, you kind of have to feel it to really understand that. But when you put this together, you're putting together something real, something that has a lot that goes into it. And yet it's not too frustrating. It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like the designer put too much into it. It doesn't feel like the designer tried to go too far, too extra, too overboard. No, it just feels right. It feels good to me. I like it. I like the figures. I like the side builds. As a collection of side builds, these are really good. I mean, a lot of the Monkie Kid side build things, the bigger ones, the structure-based ones have been especially good. But here with these little ones, and I guess they did that in the first wave as well with the big container ship. The side builds were really small, but very effective. So yeah, I mean, they could have made this easily 2 or 3 times this size. And there are plenty of examples in the past in other themes where they have done stuff just like that. But here that wasn't done, so you get all the value of a robotic spider here with 6 legs without paying an extra $10 in a set, for the same thing. And for a simple sky scooter for a cat with a mohawk, yeah, this is what, $1, $2 worth of pieces or something that were used here. This could have been done as a $5 to $10 build easily. So thank you, designer/designers of this set. Y'all get it. Y'all are doing good work. I appreciate it. I like this, and I think it's even a respectable deal. You can check out the full build if you want to. You want to see it in real time. I've got that up. You want to see it as a speed build so you can go through it quickly in one sitting. I've got that up as well. Check out one of those if you want to see what went into the inside of this and the very interesting building techniques for how the different major sub-assemblies go together. The links, of course, to those channels are in the end screen and the video description as always, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for watching.